The college football 2026-2027 is almost here, boys. It's almost here. And in today's video, I've been hearing a lot about, the LSUs, the Texas, the Ohio State, the Notre Dame, the Miami, the Oregon. But there's a team that's been winning over and over and over again, and they've been in the conversation for the national championship, been in conversations for preseason AP ranked #1, et cetera, for 2 decades. Literally my whole life since I've been watching college football almost, the Alabama Crimson Tide have been on a pedestal. They've been at the top of the top, or at least in the conversation at the top of the top every single year, year in and year out. However, this offseason, I haven't really heard a peep about them. So in today's video, we're going to take a deeper dive. We're going to take a look at their schedule, some of the matchups, and we're going to give you guys a record prediction today for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on this team. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's go back to 2023. Bama was a center away, a snap away, couple snaps away from playing in the national championship game, ironically enough, against Washington and Kalen DeBoer. Couldn't get the job done. Lost to a very good, very experienced, very talented Michigan team. Got bounced in the 4-team playoff. Fast forward a little bit. Nick Saban retires. And the runner-up from that same national championship at Washington, Kalen DeBoer, is now the coach at Alabama. And as a Bama fan, I have mixed opinions about DeBoer. I'm not really on the bandwagon about fire DeBoer and, all this crazy shit that, a lot of Bama fans jump to. But there definitely have been some highs and some lows so far at his tenure at Alabama. And we're going to take a look at a couple of those. For example, in 2024, it's hindsight, obviously, but that team was a lot more talented than, people think. We didn't really have any, I would say, like, superstars of the sport for the most part, but we had some good depth and some good talent on that team with guys like Kobe Prentice, Kendrick Law, Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams busting on the scene. Don't forget about Jahad Campbell, Jalen Milroe, Justice Haynes, Jam Miller. It's hindsight. Obviously, a lot of people had questions about that 2024 Alabama team coming into the season. However, hindsight, I think that team was a lot more talented than the performance showed. You can say what you want about Jalen Milroe and, maybe, or Kalen DeBoer and why they underperformed. You can speculate, have your opinion, whatever. I'm not going to dive too deep into that. But all I will say is first year at Alabama, Kalen DeBoer finished 9-3, and with the roster he had, in my opinion, I think he underperformed just a little bit, but he kind of got a pass because it was year one. And then you fast forward to his second year, Bama comes in, I believe, ranked number, I think they were ranked number 8 coming into the year. And week 1, they're a double-digit favorite against an awful, or perceived to be awful at the time, Florida State team, Florida State program. And they go into Tallahassee and lose by double digits. Oh, Lord. Yeah, not a good look. Was not a good look. After that Florida State games, there was tons of questions about who Ty Simpson was going to be, Kalen DeBoer's job. Man, it was real ugly, and their back was against the wall. This Bama's team back was literally against the wall. All eyes on them from week 1 onwards throughout that year. But luckily, following that point, they went on a good run and put together some really good wins at the time. They beat Georgia by 3, beat Vanderbilt, beat Missouri, beat Tennessee, who at the time were all ranked teams. Vanderbilt finished 10-2, 14th. Missouri, I believe, ended up finishing unranked. Tennessee finished unranked. But at the time of the season, those were relatively good wins, especially when you beat Tennessee, regardless of ranked or not, with the roster Tennessee had. You came into your crib and you beat them by 17 fucking points, man. You dominated them. So, however, like I said, highs and lows. So you had a 17-point win over Tennessee, but you take a look at a couple of these games, man, and you beat Missouri by 3. It took a 4th and 8 at the end of the game, and Ty Simpson making an absolutely ridiculous throw on that 4th and 8. Even, put yourself in a position to score and kind of ice that game a little bit. So could have very easily lost that Missouri game. You look at that Vanderbilt game, if you know that 30-14 score is quite deceiving, considering the fact Jam Miller, I forget exactly the time frame, but He ran in a touchdown with like 30 seconds left or a minute left, whatever it was. The game was already over. So you won that game by 1 possession, and they jumped out on you early. I'll give props to Bama's defense. I'm not going to say it was all Diego Pavia's fault, clearly. Bama's defense caused the turnovers, but did have kind of 2 turnovers really swing your way. One while they were in the red zone driving. They're probably going to at least get 3 out of that. So we're very, I don't know if lucky's the word I want to use, but very, I'll just say you're very happy to escape that Vanderbilt game, especially coming off the loss to them the year before. Very happy to escape that Missouri game, very close. Then you go on, you smoke Tennessee. You play South Carolina, and to this day, as a Bama fan, I don't know how the fuck we won this game. I don't know how we won this game. If you know, you know that the strip at the – I thought it was over. I thought it was over. South Carolina was a first down away, maybe 2 first downs away. I don't know, but towards the end of the game, got a strip when we needed a strip. Defense came up huge. Germ scores the go-ahead touchdown, and yeah, kept the season alive. Like I said, man, this Bama's team's back was against the wall from the very start of the season, and say what you want, even me sitting up here, you're lucky to win this game, lucky to win this game. Well, they did, and even going back to DeBoer's time at Washington, this was kind of how things went a little bit. You know, that Washington team, I could be wrong, but they were, if they didn't lead the country, they were top 3 or top 5 in the country for winning 1 possession game. A lot of their games were 1 possession, 3 points, 7 points, 6 points, whatever. That Washington team, you could go back and look at their record and schedule and say the same thing. They were very fortunate to win a lot of those games they won and be in the playoff and even play for a national championship. So kudos to Alabama's defense for coming up big in that South Carolina game last year and getting the job done. You handle Tennessee. You handle LSU. You drop a game, which just like some of those games you're fortunate in. Against Oklahoma, that's a game I feel like Alabama should have won, but Oklahoma has a stellar defense and forced some big turnovers and made some good plays on special teams, squeaked out of Tuscaloosa with a win, 23-21. Then we play Eastern Illinois, obviously. That went how it went. And then the Auburn game, Bama's coming into the Auburn game, 2 losses, and a lot of people are questioning, in this game, a lot of people were picking Auburn the way Bama had looked in some previous weeks. Offense was struggling. Ty Simpson wasn't quite hitting the same. Ryan Williams is slumping. Forgot how to catch a football. So a lot of people were coming into this Iron Bowl doubting Alabama. And, off the rip, Bama comes out 17-0. It wasn't your typical 17-0 because honestly, I think Auburn's defense was playing pretty well in that game, to be fair. To be fair to Auburn, I think even down 17-0, their defense was playing pretty well. Bama made some good plays, man. They really did. Ty Simpson had a couple really good throws. That one throw to the end zone to Isaiah Horton, I don't remember if it was their first or second touchdown, but, it was kind of like a fadeaway throw. He's running backwards, turns around, flings it up in the end zone, touchdown. That was just insane. And just like that, typical Kalen DeBoer Alabama fashion, 1 quarter's good, 1 quarter's bad, 1 half is good, 1 half is bad, 1 minute, 17-0, the next minute, we're damn near finna lose. But Alabama hangs on, squeaks out the Iron Bowl, but it didn't look great, to be fair. Outside of the first quarter and a half, Bama didn't look very good in that game, and they go into the SEC championship all banged up, as well as Georgia. I'm not making an excuse for Bama. Georgia was banged up as well. Everybody that plays at this point in the season's banged up. But that coming off that Auburn game, it was tough. And then a week later, having to play Georgia and a team we already beat in a big game, SEC championship game. Yeah, it didn't go good. That game did not go good. Bama got absolutely ass-blasted, 28-7. Get in the playoffs, and just like I said, typical Bama DeBoer fashion, man. 1 quarter good, 1 quarter bad, 1 half good, 1 half bad. Bama goes down 17-0, scores 34 unanswered, wins by double digits. Then the very next game, we go against a very talented, very experienced, a team I slept on, a team I don't know what I was seeing, but throughout the whole year, I just never really saw it with Indiana, and then in the playoffs, man, when I saw them start playing some of these, topper echelon teams, even from the Big Ten championship on, it was just, man, what a team, what a coach Kurt Cinetti is. They came in and, I don't even want to look at that. absolutely belted Bama. But yeah, it's kind of a recap a little bit without going into too much details about, the past couple years for Alabama and what they've been and the questions that have been had. So, looking at this schedule coming into 2026, 2027, this could be, as a Bama fan, I'm going to tell you guys this. And other Bama fans, you need to listen up, all right? You need to listen up. Year in and year out, we've been spoiled with talent, spoiled with top recruiting classes, spoiled with the best coach of all time. And unfortunately, this year, I don't really think the talent is put together all there for us. I'm sorry, I don't. Looking at this schedule, there's a lot of winnable games. There's a lot. This schedule it's not anything crazy, to be real. If I'm being 100% honest, I've seen Bama usually plays a much tougher schedule than this. Even though it's a 9-game SEC schedule, it's not. I don't know. A lot of older Alabama teams would run through this schedule, but at the same time, guys, I don't know if the talent's there just to even run through a schedule like this. Because even though it's not hard, it's not necessarily easy. You got Texas A&M, you got Georgia, you got a sneaky little motherfucker in Mississippi State. You got Auburn, and, depending how Auburn season goes, they could be riding big momentum, a lot of confidence. Alex Golesh, new coach. So, yeah, if the ball's going to have to bounce our way a couple times, it's going to be similar to last year. Back's going to be against the wall. There's going to be a lot of new guys, a lot of new faces. Somebody's going to have to step up. Somebody's going to have to start making plays, whether it's Keelan, whether it's Mac, whoever it is. Somebody's gonna have to break out a little bit if this Alabama team really wants to, make a push, make a run at it. But it could get spooky. The flip side of that is if that ball doesn't bounce our way a couple times, this season could get spooky really fast and could be a shit show in a lot of Alabama fans' eyes. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried. And in a weird way, this is the least confident I've ever been about an Alabama team. But it's one of the seasons I've been most excited for ever, though. Because, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what I'm going to get. This roster's young. We don't rank very high. I could look it up and put it in this video, but I already know we don't rank very high in returning starters, returning talent, returning players in general. So we had a lot of guys leave, lost a lot of players to the draft. Lost some key defensive lineman guys to Ohio State. So it could get spooky. This could really end up being a 8-4 year. It really could. But will that happen? Let's find out, boys. Let's find out. Starting off September 5th, Bama, Eastern Carolina comes to Tuscaloosa to take an ass whooping. Not much to talk about here. Bama walks away with this game easy. First game of the SEC schedule, a week later, Bama goes to Kentucky, man. And honestly, this is going to be a different Kentucky team. It's going to be a different Kentucky team coming up the next couple years. I'm telling y'all. Y'all better listen to me. I'm not saying Kentucky's going to be a contender. I'm not saying they're going to be a top team in the SEC or even a top half team. But this Kentucky team within the next couple years, maybe even first year right out the gate, is going to be a spooky and tricky team for a lot of people. They just hired Will Stein. I like Will Stein a lot. And I think Will Stein's going to turn the Kentucky program around a little bit. But I think this could be a little bit of a trap game for Bama. Maybe a little bit like that Florida State game early in first game of the year last year was. However, I think Bama walks away with the dub. I think it'll be relatively competitive, though, at least for a while. I think it'll be relatively competitive. People will be raising some eyebrows. But I think Bama goes into Kentucky, gets the job done, advances to 2-0. And then, oh, brother, Florida State, baby. Yeah, I hate to break it to y'all, all right? Florida State fans, listen up. Your time has come. I want to let y'all know you're getting your fucking ass whooped. It's gonna be bad. This game will not be competitive. Mark my words. Bama's gonna absolutely spank y'all, bro. Bend y'all over and spank y'all on y'all's bare ass cheeks. That's what's gonna happen. Bama advances to 3-0. Florida State comes into Tuscaloosa and gets whooped. Following week, another home game. South Carolina comes into Tuscaloosa. I think still relatively early in the year. We're going to have a new quarterback, young guy at quarterback, not a lot of experience. I think South Carolina's defensive front could give, maybe some issues, push the offensive line around a little bit, but I don't know. I don't think South Carolina has the depth. I don't think they have the weapons. I've seen LaNorris Sellers against this Alabama defense before. I don't think he's going to have much success throwing the ball in that secondary. I think South Carolina will have some run success. I think LaNorris Sellers will have some run success, and I think it'll be a relatively competitive game, but I think Bama walks out with like a 10, 14-point win in Tuscaloosa against South Carolina, and they advance to 4-0. Now, Mississippi State on October 3rd at Mississippi State. This is one of those games I was just talking about where if the ball doesn't bounce our way, if we don't show up, it could get spooky, all right? Mississippi State, if you take a look at their team last year, I'm not going to dive into it right here, but they lost like 4 or 5 games last year by 1 possession, a couple of them against really good teams. Example, Texas. As a matter of fact, pop it up on the screen. Texas, right? Say what you want about that Texas team last year. They had a lot of talent, okay? They had a lot of talent, couldn't put it together, dropped a couple games. It is what it is. But that Texas team wasn't bad by any means. And Mississippi State had them on the ropes and had a couple people on the ropes. And I believe beat a decent Arizona State team. All right? So this is a game where really, really, really worried about, especially it being at Mississippi State. I feel like they could catch Bama sleeping. I think this game will be close. I think it'll be close, but I think Alabama gets the job done, pulls it out, advances to 5-0, all right, with a close win over Mississippi State. A scary game. Following week, the big, bad Georgia Bulldogs come to Tuscaloosa. And the following week, Bama just had kind of a scare and a shit show against Mississippi State, even though they squeak it out. Now, could have a little bias involved in this, I'll be honest. But this is the game. Keelan Russell, breakout game, shreds that Georgia Bulldogs defense, and Bama gets revenge for the SEC championship and puts fucking belt to ass, baby. Absolutely fucking wet. That's what I'm seeing, man. That's what I'm seeing. Keelan Russell, breakout game. Typical Bama Georgia fashion, breaks Georgia's heart. Hopefully we don't have to play him again, because the only thing that does scare me about Bama in this game, though, it's like halfway through the season, it's gonna give Kirby, whoever, I'm guessing it's gonna be Keelan. That's my guess. So for the sake of this, I'll just say Keelan. Kirby's gonna have a lot of tape on Keelan Russell. He's gonna be familiar with, DeBoer at this point in the Bama offense. So I do worry about the adjustments Kirby can make, but yeah, man. All jokes aside, Keelan Russell breakout game. Bama shocks the world once again, beats Georgia, and advances to 6-0. Bang. Following week, we go to Tennessee, baby. Neyland Stadium, Bama versus Tennessee. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not that high on Tennessee. I'm not. I'm having trouble kind of seeing how I'm having trouble seeing Tennessee's upside this year. I don't think they'll be awful, but I think their quarterback situation's kind of weird. The defensive line situation with all the shit going on, bro. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but if you know, you know. I do like Josh Heupel. He pulled Tennessee out of very dark times. Tennessee was completely dog shit for like 15 years, and Josh Heupel came in, let them do a couple really good years, playoff, even though they got their ass whooped by Ohio State, playoff appearance. So, but unfortunately, Tennessee fans, this ain't the year, my boys. This ain't the year. Bama hasn't won in Neyland, I think, in last 3 times, maybe last 2 times. But, yeah, they're winning this time. Bama advances to 7-0 after beating Tennessee at Tennessee. Now, October 24th. Oh, Lord. Texas A&M comes to Tuscaloosa and... oh, brother. Isaiah Horton comes back to Tuscaloosa. Marcel Reed's first time seeing this Alabama defense. Bama's defense, first time seeing him. This is kind of a tricky one, though, because in my opinion, it's going to be a hot take to most people. But if you know, Bama, to me, has the best secondary in college football. All right, Dijon Lee, Zabian Brown, Keon Sabb, Bray Hubbard. They have the best secondary in college football. And if you don't agree with that, I think we could all agree it's a top 5 secondary. Defense all around could be shaky. We don't know how the linebacker play is going to be. We don't know how the defensive line play is going to be. But one thing I can trust about this Alabama defense is that secondary. So I don't trust Marcel Reed throwing the ball very much in this game. I don't. And I worry about his legs a little bit. I worry about that Texas A&M offensive line pushing us around. I worry about their defensive line pushing us around. I think Bama's riding a little bit of a high here, and I think in a close one, and I mean a close one, I think Texas A&M comes into Tuscaloosa and knocks off the undefeated Alabama Crimson Tide. But it's going to be close, man. Like, I don't know about Marcel Reed. I really don't. I like him, but against really good secondaries, I question his decision-making, his accuracy, his deep ball threat. I don't know. Could be 50-50. I'll take Texas A&M to knock off Alabama. Alabama falls to 7-1. Following game, we got to go to Baton Rouge and face the LSU Tigers, the Lane Train. Past history would tell you Lane Kiffin doesn't have very much success against Alabama. However, I was Saban in them, right? And once again, I'll tell y'all boys, I think Sam Levitt's good. Before everybody fucking hops on my nuts, I think Sam Levitt's good, but I question his health. I question where he'll be at this time of the year playing an SEC schedule. Sure, he was at Arizona State. He was playing decent competition, but seeing this physicality, these type of teams this deep in the year, I have questions about Sam Levitt. I really do, especially coming off an injury already, So I'm going to bet on Lane. I'm going to say he figures it out. I'm going to say LSU somewhat meets expectations a little bit. I think they'll have a good team. I think they have a talented roster. And unfortunately, at LSU, roster versus roster. Man, but that Bama secondary keep going back to that. I just don't see Sam Levitt lighting them up and scoring a ton of points on them. I just don't. But I think LSU has a better roster, man. I think they did better in the transfer portal. They got a lot of guys returning. That defense is going to be a problem. They're going to have some weapons. If Sam Levitt shows up and plays well, I'm worried. I think Lane Kiffin and LSU get the job done at home. And I think Lane Kiffin gets his first win over Alabama. And the Tide fall to 7-2 following back-to-back losses, going to Vanderbilt. Now, a lot of people are going to hit me with, Bama lost to Vanderbilt a couple years ago. They played them close last year. Let me tell y'all right now, listen up. Listen up, listen, please. This Vanderbilt team's going to be poo. Maybe not poo, but they lost a lot, all right? They lost a lot. I question quarterback play. I question some of their weapons on the outside. They're going to have good tight end play, but outside of that, I question it. And I'm going to assume Jared Curtis is going to be the starter, 5-star true freshman. I think he'll end up being good, guys. I do. I think he'll end up being okay, especially this is so late in the season. But, yeah, I don't see it with Vanderbilt. I don't see very many ways for them to win this game. Unless Jared Curtis comes out and looks like the best player in the world, best quarterback in the country, I don't see it. I think Bama handles the back against the wall just like last year, 2 losses at this point in the year. I think they coming off that Texas A&M and LSU loss, and I think they put it on Vandy at Vandy and get a good solid win there going into the Chattanooga game. And we don't got to talk very much about that game because I guess with these Alabama teams, I won't overlook anything. But I would like to assume it's Chattanooga, and this will be smooth sailing. Now, it always comes down to this for Bama, doesn't it? Always. You can't make it up, man. A 2-loss Bama team, playoff hopes on the line. Guess who we got coming to town, baby? Just guess, the Auburn Tigers coming to town, trying to spoil the party once again. Win or lose, it seems like it always turns out this way, whether it's the kick 6 year, the 4th and 31 year, even though we won, it's like, man, it always comes down to these motherfuckers, yo, every single year. But yeah, man, all jokes aside, all bias aside, this Auburn team's kind of growing on me a little bit. You know, I like Alex Golesh. He's won most places he's been. When Tennessee was kind of hot a little bit, you know, he was over there as the OC, I believe. So I like Alex Golesh. He went to USF. USF knocked out a couple people, couple good teams. He played Alabama close to USF. People forget, but he's already seen Alabama, and he's played them pretty well. Even one of the DeBoer teams, he played them well up until the very end of the game. So it was looking like USF might upset him, and Bama pulled away in the fourth quarter. But, man, they had Bama on the ropes. So, yeah, I'm a little worried. DJ Durkin, to me, is one of the best DCs in the country. If he could just stop sending three people on third down, this Auburn defense is a problem, guys. I'm telling y'all, it's a problem. They got good linebacker play with Xavier Atkins, pretty good secondary, good guys up front. So, yeah, man, this Auburn defense could be a problem. You know, maybe I'm wrong, but I'll say the same thing I've said about a couple other games on this schedule. I just don't see Byron Brown being able to have much success through the air against this Bama team, man. Like, we'll have to see how Bama's offense is looking and how Keelan Russell comes around. But if it goes how I think it's going to go, I just don't see this Auburn team running up very many points on Bama. I think they're going to have to rely heavily on a run game, and I think they're going to have to rely heavily on their defense. So back against the wall, listen up. Alex Golesh comes into Tuscaloosa. Auburn's had the best season they've had in a minute. Bowl eligible. Hell, maybe even ranked. I'm going to drop a record prediction on Auburn as well. Stay tuned. But it's not going to be enough, man. I think it's going to be a really close game, probably a little bit low scoring. And I think Alabama gets the job done. I don't think Byron Brown has success through the air. Has some yards rushing. But I don't see him and that receiver core out there having anything for this Bama secondary. So, yeah, man, a little bit low scoring. Bama will be on the ropes a little bit in this game. But I got Bama getting the job done at home, finishing the season 10-2, and once again making the college football playoff, man. Call me biased, call it what you want, but even with a little bit less talent we've had, I think our schedule's favorable. If we show up and win the games we're supposed to win and win one game, we'll be underdogs against Georgia, A&M, and LSU. Win one of those games, the LSU, A&M, or Georgia game, win one, and win the rest of the games you're supposed to win. Don't have a Florida State moment again. Kalen DeBoer in Alabama. Don't let that happen. Win the games you're supposed to win. Squeak out one maybe you're not favored in, and you book yourself in the college football playoffs. Stay tuned for the next prediction. I'll catch y'all boys in the next one.